Hello, today I'm going to provide with you a review of an Anet A8 3D printer. This is a brand new printer I got 2 weeks ago in a box, and basically it's a DIY printer. You need to assemble it yourself. And the instructions are given, and there are some YouTube videos, but one of the issues with those YouTubes are they are silent, so the guy doesn't talk, so it takes more time, to learn and apply those instructions. Other than that, you have a lot of not on screws that you need to assemble, and one difficulty of assembling is, if I can show it to you, uh, these knots and the screws should fit into this slot, which is a little bit difficult. Other than that, if you get lucky, the assembling goes smoothly. I had a couple of issues with some of the screws thread, and some of the holes were not ready for putting the screws. But other than that, uh, it's pretty straightforward. It just needs a lot of patience and time. So after that, if you get lucky, when you turn on, the displays goes on. But for my case, uh, uh, it didn't go on, and I found out that uh, the some of the connections were loose. So if it happened to you, don't worry. Just check your connections. There are a lot of wires to be connected in right places, and also you should strip them correctly. And so after that, the most important part of setup is to level this hotbed, and there are instructions to do that, but you need to do several times to get it right. So here I like to introduce you the display and control buttons. So these 5 buttons, these are the control buttons for the display. So the central button is a main button. So when you press it, it gives you a lot of options. And with these 2 buttons, you can go up and down. So with this, you go down, quick settings, and with this, it's a select button. You select it again. With this, you go down, and then you select it. If you want to go up, you press this, you go up, and then this is back. So one thing that I was looking for, and I couldn't find it easily, was how to pause or stop printing during the printing. So to do that, you go down in the main menu, and you go to stick cards, and then here you have option to pause, stop, and in case if you want to put new files into your cart, you unmount the cart, and then you put the file, and again you mount the cart. So these are useful things to know, and it saves you a lot of time. When I first started printing, that's what happened. Take a look. You saw the printed material doesn't stick to the hotbed, and the reason was that the leveling was not done correctly. So I repeated the leveling instructions several times until I got it right. Before going through the printing, let me introduce you the software which this 3D printer works with. It's called Cura, and it's a really user-friendly and good software. Uh, there are some instruction in the USB which comes with this 3D printer how to set up the Cura, but it's an old version, and I had difficulty how to apply this setup, and I found out that when you go to main menu, if you click on custom, you can apply those setups. So that's something to keep in mind. And after setting up the Cura, you can start printing. And this is one of my first print, which the model came into USB, which came with this 3D printer. And as you can see, it printed this model pretty well. I mean, it captured all the details, and I'm very happy with the quality of this print. So I did printing other other parts. One thing that I found was that the dimension doesn't match exactly with the drawing. For example, these holes, these internal holes, the dimensions were about 0.2, 0.3 millimeter smaller than what was in the CAD. In terms of external dimension, it matched better. So that's something you need to pay attention, or maybe you need to play with the setup to get it right. Another issue that I had was the deflection of this part. As you can see in this area, it's kind of compressed, and I don't know what was the reason. Maybe the leveling was not good in that part, maybe because of the geometry, or maybe my setup was not correct. So I'm not pro in this field. I just started like 2 weeks ago, and so maybe there are other reasons that happened. But overall, if you have a lot of time and patience, and if you are new to this field, I would recommend this 3D printer. But if you need something like plug and play, and if you have more budget, I would recommend getting better printer, maybe more expensive printer. But overall, I'm happy with this printer, and for beginners, I would recommend it.